My name is Lauren Bennett. I'm 35 years old, and before everything fell apart, I thought betrayal would be loud. I thought it would sound like shouting, like doors slamming, like something sharp enough to point at and say, "There." That's when it broke. I didn't know it could start with something quieter, something as small as being needed. March 15th, 2019. That's the day my older sister, Danielle Bennett, got the diagnosis. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months, maybe 8 if treatment worked. She was 38, healthy, active, the kind of woman who made people feel safe just by being in the room. None of that mattered. I remember where I was when she called. Standing in my kitchen, staring at a sink full of dishes I hadn't touched in 3 days. Her voice didn't sound like hers. "Lauren, I need you." Not dramatic, not crying. Just thin. Like something inside her had already started disappearing. I packed a bag that afternoon. Canceled work, left my apartment, moved into their guest room before the sun went down. That's how it started. Everyone said I was a good sister. Responsible, strong, the one who stepped up when things got hard. I let them believe that. Her husband, Michael, met me at the door. They'd been married 9 years. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Eyes red, shoulders collapsed inward like something had caved in his chest. "Thank God you're here," he said. Then he hugged me. Tight. Too tight. I felt his breath against my neck, his hands gripping my back like I was the only thing keeping him upright. And something inside me shifted. Not desire. Not yet. Just awareness. That night, I slept in the guest room across the hall from theirs. I could hear Danielle coughing through the walls. Soft, wet, wrong. And I remember thinking, this house is already breaking. They had 2 kids. Emma was 7. She liked drawing horses, covering entire notebooks with them like she was trying to build a world that made sense. Jake was 5, quiet, always carrying the same stuffed dinosaur, like letting go of it would mean something worse was coming. They were good kids, the kind that make you believe life is fair. The first week, I did everything right. Doctor appointments, medication schedules, cooking, cleaning, laundry. I played with the kids, helped Emma color, sat with Jake while he watched cartoons. I became necessary, indispensable. On day 8, Danielle called me into her room. She looked smaller already, like someone had taken parts of her and quietly removed them. "Lauren," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need to ask you something." I sat beside her. She reached for my hand. "If I don't make it..." I shook my head immediately. "Don't say that." But she kept going. "I need you to promise me something." Her grip tightened. "Take care of them. Michael, Emma, Jake. Don't let them be alone." Her eyes locked onto mine. There was no room to lie. "I promise," I said. And I meant it. At least, I think I did. Michael hugged me that night, harder than before. "You're the best sister anyone could ask for," he said into my shoulder. I smiled, but something inside me expanded. Week 3, 1 a.m. I came downstairs for water. The kitchen was dark except for the light over the sink. Michael was sitting at the table, head in his hands, shaking, not quietly, violently. I didn't say anything at first, just sat down next to him. He looked up. His face was wrecked. "She's dying," he said. The words sounded unreal in his mouth, like he hadn't practiced them yet. "I can't stop it." His voice broke. "I'm going to lose her, Lauren. I'm going to be alone with 2 kids, and I don't know how to do this." I put my hand on his shoulder. "You're not alone." It came out instinctively. "I'm here." He looked at me then. Really looked. Like he was searching for something. Anything that didn't feel like the end. "Promise me you won't leave too." The words hung there. Heavy. Dangerous. "I promise." He leaned into me. Slowly. Carefully. Like he was asking permission without saying it. His head rested against my shoulder. We stayed like that. 20 minutes. Maybe more. I don't remember the exact time. I remember something else. The warmth of him. The way he held on. The way my body responded to it before my mind had time to catch up. Upstairs, my sister was dying. In the next room, her husband was breaking apart. And sitting there in the dark, with his weight against me, his breath steadying, his hand gripping mine. I felt something I should have crushed immediately. Something small, something quiet, something dangerous. I felt chosen. And that was the moment everything actually began. Not the kiss, not the affair, not the betrayal everyone would eventually see. Number. It started there, in the dark, with a promise, and a feeling I didn't kill when I still could. By week 5, the house had learned how to breathe around death. Quietly, carefully, like any sudden movement might make it worse. Danielle was sleeping most of the day now. 16 hours, sometimes more. When she was awake, it was short bursts. Pain, medication, silence. Her body was disappearing faster than any of us could adjust to. Michael and I stopped talking about it. Not out loud. Not directly. It was like we had an unspoken agreement. If we didn't name it, it wasn't happening. The kids went to bed at 8, every night. And every night after that, the house changed. We'd sit at the kitchen table, 2 plates, 2 glasses, a space where Danielle used to be. At first, we talked about logistics, doctor visits, insurance, schedules, but that didn't last. Eventually, we started talking about everything else. His childhood, my failed relationships, movies we used to love, songs we hadn't heard in years, anything that didn't sound like grief. He started laughing again. The first time it happened, it caught me off guard. It wasn't forced. It wasn't polite. It was real, and I realized something uncomfortable. I was the one making him feel that way. So I kept going. More jokes, more stories, more of me. Because every time he laughed, it felt like I was winning something I didn't even realize I'd been competing for. Week 7. Danielle was in the hospital overnight. Fluids, monitoring, another complication. The kids were asleep upstairs. The house felt empty, too quiet. We were cleaning up after dinner. He was washing. I was drying. The kind of rhythm you fall into without thinking. She'd be lost without you, he said suddenly. I looked up. What? Danielle, he said. She tells me all the time. She doesn't know how she'd survive this without you here. There was something in his voice. Gratitude. But underneath that, something else. I set the plate down slowly. You don't have to say that. I do, he said. He turned toward me, water still running behind him. I don't say it enough. His eyes locked onto mine. You're the only thing holding this place together right now. That feeling again. Stronger this time. Not small anymore. I should have stepped back. Said something normal. Safe. Instead, I stayed exactly where I was. He took a step closer. Then another. Close enough that I could feel the heat coming off his skin. Close enough that I could see the exhaustion in his face. And the way he was looking at me like I wasn't just his wife's sister. Lauren. My name didn't sound right in his mouth. Not like that. I don't remember deciding. I don't remember thinking. I remember reaching. I remember turning him toward me. I remember the moment everything crossed a line that didn't exist anymore once we stepped over it. I kissed him. There was half a second, just enough time for it to stop, for him to pull away, for one of us to remember who we were supposed to be. He didn't. He kissed me back, hard, desperate, like he'd been waiting for permission he didn't know he wanted. We didn't make it out of the kitchen, not even close. After, he stepped back first, like reality had finally caught up. We can't do this, he said. His voice was rough, unsteady. I know, I said. And I meant it. We did it again the next night, and the night after that, and every chance we got for the next 4 months. It stopped feeling like a mistake very quickly. That's the part no one wants to admit. It didn't feel wrong. It felt necessary. We became careful. At first, whispers instead of words. Doors closed softly, footsteps measured. Then less careful, because nothing bad had happened yet. Because we thought we were smarter than the situation we were in. He saved my number as contractor. I saved his as client. We laughed about it once, quietly. Like that made it less disgusting. The text started slow, then constant. Messages sent from different rooms in the same house. Photos, plans, timing everything around medication schedules, naps, doctor visits. Upstairs, Danielle was fighting to stay alive. Downstairs, we were building something that only existed because she was dying. I started to change. Not all at once, but enough. I stopped thinking about promises. Stopped replaying that moment in her room. Stopped hearing her voice when I looked at him. Because something else was louder. Every time he touched me, I felt chosen. Not second. Not the sister. Not the one who lived in someone else's shadow. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had something that was mine. And I held on to it. Even when I knew exactly what it was costing. Week 18. Hospice had started. A nurse came every day. The house smelled different now. Sterile. Artificial. Like something already gone was being preserved for a little longer. The kids knew. Not fully, but enough. Emma drew pictures of heaven and asked if her mom would like it there. Jake stopped talking as much. Just sat quietly with that dinosaur in his hands like it was the only thing he trusted. Michael spent hours upstairs with Danielle, holding her hand, reading to her, telling her he loved her, over and over. And then he'd come downstairs, find me, sometimes in the garage, sometimes in the basement, once in their bedroom. That should have been the moment. The one that stopped everything. It wasn't. I helped him carry her to the bathroom when she couldn't walk, held her arm while she leaned against me, trembling. Listened to her whisper thank you like I was saving her life. And then I'd walk out of that room, pick up my phone, and text her husband about how much I wanted him. There's a point where you stop being confused, stop being overwhelmed, stop being pulled into something you didn't choose. And you realize you are choosing it. over and over. That's where I was. A person who knew exactly what she was doing and kept doing it anyway. And somehow, that still wasn't the worst part, because the worst part was coming. November 3rd, 2019. That's the day everything ended. I was at my apartment, for once, a rare night away from the house, trying to pretend I still had a life outside of it. My phone rang. Michael. I answered immediately. Lauren. His voice wasn't right. Not tired, not stressed. Sharp. Broken in a different way. He knows. My body went cold. What are you talking about? Danielle, he said. She knows. Everything. There are moments when your brain tries to reject reality. This was one of them. No, I said. That's not possible. She asked for my phone, he said, his voice shaking now. She wanted to see photos from Jake's birthday. I just gave it to her. I forgot about the messages from this morning. This morning. I knew exactly which ones. Last night was unbelievable. I need you again. I love you. Her reply. I hate that I love this. I love you too. Silence stretched on the line. Heavy. Final. She read everything, he said. Everything, Lauren. I don't remember grabbing my keys. I don't remember the drive. I just remember running. Through the front door. Up the stairs. 2 at a time. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The nurse was gone. Lunch break. Of course. Danielle was propped up in bed. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. Her skin gray. Her body barely holding together. But her eyes were clear. Sharp. Awake in a way they hadn't been in weeks. Danielle. Don't. Her voice cut through the room. Weak, but precise. Don't say my name. I stopped. Mid-step. Please, I said, just let me explain. Explain what? Her voice didn't rise. Didn't break. That made it worse. How you've been sleeping with my husband while I've been dying. Every word landed clean. No hesitation. No confusion. Just truth. Tears slid down her temples into her hair. She didn't wipe them away. I read everything, she said. Every message, every plan, every time you talked about how hard it was to pretend around me. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Photos, she continued, in my bed. Her voice cracked then. Just once. I was upstairs. That was the moment something inside me collapsed. I didn't mean, stop. She coughed suddenly. Hard. Violent. Blood spotted her hand. I took a step forward instinctively. She pulled away. Don't touch me. Silence filled the room again. Heavy. Final. Do you know what the worst part is? She asked, her voice softer now. Almost curious. It's not that you betrayed me. That should have hurt. It didn't. Not yet. People do that, she said. Every day. Her eyes locked onto mine. It's that you made me believe I wasn't alone. That landed. You promised me, she whispered. Her hand trembled slightly against the blanket. You looked me in the eyes and promised you would take care of them. My throat closed. I thought I could die in peace, she said. I thought my kids would be okay. Her voice broke then. Finally. I thought my sister loved me. I felt something inside my chest tear open. I do love you, I said. It sounded weak. Even to me. You don't, she said. No hesitation. No anger. Just certainty. You're not sorry because you hurt me, she continued. You're sorry because I found out. I had no defense. Because she was right. She closed her eyes for a moment. Breathing uneven. Fighting for something as simple as air. When she opened them again, there was nothing left in them for me. Get out, she said. Danielle, please. Get out of my house. Her voice rose slightly. Not loud, but final. Don't come to my funeral. My heart stuttered. Don't contact Michael. Don't come near my children. Each sentence stripped something away. You're not my sister anymore. That one stayed. You're just the person who made sure I didn't get to die in peace. I stood there, wanting to say something. Anything. But there are moments when language stops working. When there is nothing left to explain. Nothing left to defend. So I did the only thing I could do. I left. Danielle died the next morning. 6:23 a.m. 23 hours after she found out. 23 hours to understand exactly what I had done to her. Michael called me, crying, hysterical. She's gone. I didn't go. She had made her wishes clear. The nurse told him Danielle had been awake most of the night, in pain, unable to sleep. At 4:17 a.m., she asked the nurse to write something down. Her hands were too weak. Her final words, tell my children their mother loved them more than anything. A pause. Tell Michael, I forgive him. Another pause. Longer. And tell Lauren. The nurse hesitated when she repeated this part. She didn't kill me. My breath caught. The cancer did that. A beat. But she made sure I died in agony instead of peace. Silence. And that's something I can't fix. She died 2 hours later. And just like that, everything I had built in that house turned into something I could never undo. I wasn't allowed at the funeral. Michael made that clear. Not with a call, not with a message, through someone else. His best friend, Marcus, called me the night before. "Don't come," he said. His voice was calm, too calm. "Danielle's last wish was that you stay away." I didn't argue. I didn't apologize. I didn't say anything. I drove there anyway, parked 4 blocks away, stood behind a line of trees where no one could see me. The crowd was bigger than I expected. People filled the space around the church. Family, friends, neighbors, people who had loved her. Emma stood next to the casket, holding Michael's hand, crying so hard her shoulders shook. Jake stood on the other side, silent, clutching that same dinosaur like it was the only thing keeping him standing. They lowered her into the ground, and I watched from a distance, like I wasn't part of that story anymore. Because I wasn't. I wasn't her sister. I wasn't family. I was the thing they would whisper about later. The detail no one says out loud in front of the children. 4 days later, Michael came to my apartment. For 1 second, just one, I thought maybe everything wasn't completely destroyed. That was the last illusion I had. He looked different. Older. Not from time. From something else. "I'm here to say one thing," he said. His voice was empty. Flat. Then he handed me an envelope. "She wrote this before she died," he said. "She made the nurse promise I'd give it to you." I stared at it. Didn't take it. Not yet. "She forgave me," he added. His jaw tightened. "But don't mistake that for forgetting." I nodded. "Because there was nothing else to do. And this," he gestured toward the envelope, "this is the last thing you'll ever get from her." I took it, my hands shaking. "After this," he said, "you stay away." His eyes met mine. Cold. Final. From me, from the kids, from everything. "Michael, don't." That word again. "We didn't love each other," he said. The sentence landed like a correction, not a confession. "You needed to feel chosen," he continued. "And I needed to forget my wife was dying." He exhaled slowly. That's all it was. And somehow, that hurt more than anything else. Because it meant even the thing I destroyed everything for wasn't real. He turned, walked out, didn't look back. I didn't open the letter for 8 days. I kept it on the table, moved it from room to room, like it was something alive, watching me. When I finally opened it, I had to read it 3 times. "Lauren, I'm writing this at 3:17 a.m. The pain is worse tonight, but I need to say this while I still can." My hands tightened on the paper. "I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I don't want to spend my last hours hating my sister." I stopped there, couldn't breathe. Then I kept reading. "But you need to understand what you took from me." Every word after that was a blade. "You didn't just betray me. You took the only thing that made this bearable." My vision blurred. I was dying. I knew I was dying. But I believed my children would be safe. I believed my husband would not be alone. I believed my sister loved me enough to protect what I couldn't. My hands started shaking. "You took that from me." Silence filled the room. I thought cancer was the worst thing that could happen to me. I was wrong. I couldn't keep reading. But I did. Because I had to. "I hope you live a long life, Lauren. I hope you become someone better than the person who did this." My chest tightened. "But I will die knowing you were not that person when it mattered most." The letter ended simply. "Please stay away from my family. If you ever loved me, honor that." I folded it, carefully, like that would somehow undo what it said. It didn't. Everything after that was just consequence. I lost my job within a week. No explanation needed. People talk, especially about things like this. I tried to find another one. Every interview ended the same way. Polite, until they knew. Then nothing. I moved, changed cities, started over. It didn't matter. You don't outrun something like that. It stays with you. In your name, in your face, in the way people look at you when they know. I tried dating once. His name was Daniel. Kind, patient, normal. 4 months in, he asked why I never talked about my family. I told him the truth. He left that night. "I can't be with someone who could do that," he said. After that, I stopped trying. Years passed. Not quickly, not slowly, just heavily. Michael remarried 2 years later. Her name was Karen. She looked kind in the photos. Steady. The kind of woman who knew how to build something real. Emma and Jake were smiling. Actually smiling. They looked like a family. A complete one. Like Danielle had never been replaced. But somehow, peace had still found its way back to them. I wasn't in any of it. I became something else. A gap. A silence. A person who used to exist. 5 years later, I went to Danielle's grave. There were fresh flowers. Photos of the kids. Older now. Different. A small note. "We still love you. We're okay now." I stood there for a long time, trying to find words. There weren't any, because apologies don't travel that far. They don't reach the places where they're actually needed. I go to therapy now, twice a week. They call it guilt. Unprocessed trauma. They're wrong. Trauma is what happens to you. This, I chose. I built it, piece by piece, decision by decision. And now, I live inside it. I'm 43 years old. I live alone. Work a job that doesn't ask questions. No family. No one who calls. No one who remembers me as anything other than what I did. Last week, I got a message from Emma. She's 12 now. Hi, are you my Aunt Lauren? I found some old pictures of you and my mom. You looked really happy together. Why don't you visit anymore? I stared at it for 4 days, reading it, closing it, opening it again, trying to find an answer that didn't destroy something else. There wasn't one, so I blocked her. Because some truths don't belong to children, and some damage doesn't get repaired. I'm telling you this for one reason. Betrayal isn't just about what you do, it's about what you take. I didn't just betray my sister, I took her peace. And once you take something like that, you don't get to give it back.